Okay, so today we're going to make deep fried pickles. I've already chopped the pickles into slices and patted them dry. Another recipe I read suggested putting them in the fridge for an hour and they'll dry out more because you don't want too much moisture in whatever you're doing. In my second bowl, I have flour and all of the spices, and I'm just going to whisk that together. Okay. Okay. In my third bowl, I have a little bit more flour as per my recipe and some panko breadcrumbs. And again, just going to whisk those together. And the reason why I did 1 to 3 is because those are dry. And then honestly, I can just use the same whisk for my wet. Okay, so in my wet, I have 1 egg already in there, cracked. And then I have some milk that I'm going to put in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to whisk that together as well. Now, depending on what you're making, if it's like proteins, anything like that, what you're going to be doing probably is seasoning each one of these. But because it's dill pickles and they already have a lot of flavor, you only need to do a little bit of flavoring in the first one. Okay. So there is my stuff ready. Before I was to put anything out like that, I would call mise en place. And what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be taking some of my pickles, putting them in the flour dish, putting them in the egg wash, and then putting them into the panko. When I'm dealing with my dry ingredients, I'm going to use my right hand. When I'm dealing with my wet ingredients, I'm going to use my left hand. And it's really important to only do a few at a time. So I'm going to put 6 in here. Okay. And I used my left hand, but that's okay. Okay. And then I can pick each one out. I can see it's covered in flour. I need to tap that off. I don't want too much flour going into that egg wash. Okay. And then with my other hand, I can turn those over. So this is the only hand that goes in the wet. This is the only hand that goes in the dry. And then it just makes life so much easier. Okay. So what I'm going to do now with my wet, I'm going to take that out. And I'm just going to drop that into my second dry. Okay, now with my dry, I'm going to just pick some up and make sure they're good and coated. Okay, give them a slight toss. And then I can take them and put them on the landing tray or onto a plate, doesn't matter. But this way, you'll notice that some of the flour is dripping off, which then it doesn't muck up your oil that much. Okay, so I'm going to continue with the rest of them and then we'll go back and fry. Okay, so this is my Dutch oven with a few inches of oil in. It's starting to heat. This is an oil thermometer. It has a clip on the back, so it actually stands up. And I will zoom in, and hopefully you can see there's an actual like place where it says deep fry. And we're trying to get this up to 375. So I just wanted to show you that while it's all working. Okay, so we're up to temp, and I'm going to start deep frying. I can use tongs to lower this in because it is smaller, or I could, if it's a little bit of a bigger, I could use a spider. This is a spider. If it was a larger item, I would leave batter on my fingers because that would protect my fingers from the oil, and I would gently drop it away from me without it splashing. Okay, now I also know I'm going to drop a few in here. Ooh, you can hear it. There is a smoke point of oil, and that's the point that you actually smell the oil, and it's coming up to temp. If you go past that, it will scorch the oil. Okay, so I'm going to put about half of these in because they're pretty small. I don't want to overcrowd the pan because it can definitely make a difference. These are only cooking for about 3 to 4 minutes until they're slightly golden brown. Okay, and I'm going to turn that down because it's getting a little warmer than what I want. I want 375. Okay, and generally when they float is when they're done. Okay. And with smaller items too, sometimes when you put too many in, it will literally, they'll stick together. Okay. Now I'm going to place these on a wire rack so that the oil can drip off. And they're nice and golden brown. And if I want to remove a lot at one time, my spider is probably the best to do that. Okay. So I'm going to drop some more, and we'll finish these up, and we'll be back. Okay, so we've finished them. I've put a few on a plate, and I did make a dip to go with it. It's a cilantro, lime, a little bit of dill, dipping sauce made out of mainly Greek yogurt and a little bit of mayo, some spices, but bon appetit.